deed over there to the Cobb Cemetery, too.
Do you really?
I believe I do.
And then this is right up on the after that hotel down there that was down there on the corner. You know, the afternoon. Okay, Mangabill Stinson built that way back, and that was some kid, granddaddy's. I don't know whether it was granddaddy's father's sister. I mean. Son, or whether just what connection. I've got it down in here somewhere. Mm-hmm. But anyway, that was in there, and then there's where they were selling the petition the court just lately to sell it. Mm-hmm. And then of course that's mom and dad even.
Yeah, I remember that being in the paper and that.
And this is some things Uncle Lawrence had there. Him and Aunt Siney was, and they was talking about their Christmas tree ornaments they made. He carved some and she crocheted some.
Oh.
I'm just sorry that some of our family couldn't have bought the Granddaddy Clover place. She belongs to somebody from away from here.
And this is the house when Uncle Lawrence went, after she died, and Uncle Lawrence went to Washington State, and Larry and him was living in a trailer, but he bought 20 acres of land. And so when he got out there, then Uncle Lawrence lived in a camper, I think, for a little while. Then they built this house.
Is that the one where he has the garden and the little girl comes to see?
Yeah. Now, this is Larry and his wife up here. And then downstairs, he has, they won't let him cook down there and eat because he won't eat. That was the problem.
Well, I always thought they always lived there at that place.
And so he has a living room and his bedroom and a bath down here on the first level.
Daddy had to get...
Yeah, he wrote to somebody and
this is the kitchen.
Make a living.
This was a pot-bellied stove. He cut that all out of paper and sent me all this. And then this is where he made the bed out of the scraps for the water bed. Him and Larry did all this stuff. And then there's some more letters he's wrote me.
A farm that belonged to Thornton Ritenour. Thornton owned a beautiful farm and
then this was his
and we moved there.
Garden of Eden that he carved.
The Warriors.
And he sold that.
Who was
sold that to some old man and told me what he got for it.
Bought it. So it belongs
he
to
writes
him.
me and sends me some pictures there.
I don't know who owns it.
But now I got a picture later of him.
But it probably still is
that he looked real good. But that one he didn't. This one he don't. It looks a little better. This was his wood carving. There's some of his notes and all kinds
of the tender years when I was a little girl.
Well, didn't they move back to that place?
Not back to the original. Well, yeah, where we lived, it was the same place, but not...
Because I remember going down there.
Yeah, and I was peeping out through the hole here. I didn't have much space, did
I? It was a big place.
But that was all the kids.
From Slade Hill Schoolhouse. His was the next farm there.
And that was a James
This one lay along this little creek that come down on the upper side of Slade Hill
Schoolhouse. And this one was, there was Grandma holding a cake there. Some of them didn't turn out. I borrowed the pictures from this was old Granddaddy Colors and Uncle John.
And
I got that on one of these on this other one. This is Charlie Stinson here. I got that on there, and this was Grandma. I got this on one too.
And everything, and
that's
all
Grandma
the
was
trees
Grandma's
and the swing
colors. She was a Mars.
Along the creek.
There's Uncle Dan. He's a nice looking guy.
Yeah, he looks like that Billy Plogger.
And then this was Granddaddy Stinson and Jack, his brother. That was Bob and Jim and Lawrence and Dan and Clarence.
So the Warriors got it. And when we moved away from down there,
that was over
that's where we live now.
Yeah.
My mom was an only child, and her dad.
I never seen those pictures till I got them, and
they came down.
And started taking pictures. There's one of Uncle Bob. Now that got dark around, but his face did show up.
We liked it down there. We see my dad's watching.
Okay, there's a lot in this book. And that was Lois when she was in Vietnam.
So we moved back up to be close to my mom and dad.
She was taken in Vietnam.
And the place where I grew up.
They didn't turn out too good.
Which was pretty bad.
I got another one of those, but I've got some of them in here twice because I got to put them together and put them in the book now. This one, this is a
but
this I think is a plot of the Stinson farm over there, the boundary. Yeah, this was the Stinson farm over there.
Okay,
you all want to come home?
I wound up getting that.
She being the only child,
This is another
Or you
block.
on
Besides
the
the front row, 5
let
miles.
somebody else rent the place.
See, Debbie
Well,
Jones.
my mom and
this
dad
is
was
in there
very
somewhere.
foolish
I
to
mean,
ever
they
let
was
anybody
connected.
else
But
rent it.
the Stinsons, when they first
So
come
what
over,
was the-
they owned
You
three,
remember
the
what
biggest
house
percentage
was
of
like
all Warren
for
County.
How tall it is.
When they come over,
and
after they come over from Ireland.
So we lived there
Now,
quite a
this is
while.
James
And my
Stinson's
grandmother
will.
said, well, Grace and Craig said,
18
she
May
had a little money saved up. She said, I'm going to build a
1800
kitchen and dining room with the bedroom over
looks
it
like it might be
on the back of the
19.
house. Come out the hall door.
That's probably
Go
what
into
I
it.
got and put it with the cemetery when I
the big part of the
published it.
house.
Mhm.
We'll move out there and that's the new part. And that's what we did. Because she being the only child, it was up to her to come home and take care of
This is James Stinson Jr.'s
And
will.
still, if she didn't, they was going to have to get somebody to come in there and take care of
Oh,
it.
this is where they had things filed
So,
down
of
in
course,
the, in the
that's moved
circuit
over
court
made
and all
her
that
because
stuff.
she got
Here's
it
another
when they
one.
both died. It was
This
hers
is,
generally then, the whole place.
Warren County, Virginia,
So that's where I grew
1868.
up.
This
And
one
of course,
was.
Daddy's
And this one
home
was
was just
James
2 hills
Stinson.
over, just
Yeah.
across.
Well, this Mamie Lockhart down here, she took us down on the farm.
Yeah, she lives up here.
Well, whichever.
Yeah. Nowadays, a Stinson Cemetery, they got a cemetery over on Stinson Farm.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Well, you see, her daddy owned that, and she owns that now.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Then my brother that lived up here had the service station, right across from her. Well, he's
Okay.
on this side. There's a cemetery back this
Right,
way.
right.
Yeah.
But
And
down,
that's
but down on the
Virginia.
farm,
Uh-huh.
where this house that I just took this picture of, right over there,
Yeah.
that's where that house stood, right?
Yeah, right.
And on the right of that was Mamie telling me right when she said
Well,
that
let's
was,
see. Now, that house, okay, the first house you come to was, they own it now, but that was where Grandma and Granddaddy Lentz lived, and they owned that.
now I'm talking about
Okay.
down on the river where
Yeah,
the
this is on the
cemetery-
river. This is on the
Okay.
river. Then when you went up, the next place was that house. And then you went on up a little further, and then that's where the house is and was that Mamie and them lived in.
Oh, okay.
And then you went on up further, which I'm sure y'all didn't probably go up there, but the part the house is standing at was where Mom and Daddy lived before they bought the farm down here, and that's where us kids was born.
But down on the river,
Yeah.
where the cemetery is,
Yeah, that where
there
the
was a
cemetery was.
long building there, and she said that was the old slave quarters.
Uh-huh.
Is that right?
Yeah, well, that's the place where she was born at, was where the cemetery, it's there where the cemetery is.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you're right there. And I don't know what this was. Oh, this was something about so many poles and so many holes and so many, all this
Measurements,
stuff.
that was land.
Yeah, it was land.
Mhm.
And most of the rest of this is. And there was something that was wrote up. I don't know. I could tell him about it, but I've forgotten. There's corn something. How much corn there was somewhere. Well, they got where they had sales in here, what they
Right,
sold it, and all
yeah,
that
who
stuff.
bought it, and
Yeah.
Mhm.
And see, it says here, draw the river and the land if possible. Set upper field, second field, third field, and house tall. That must have been the upper 6 rooms. That must have been the one up there. That was 2 stories. That's the one up where we was born. Because the
That was
rest
the
of them
tall
didn't.
house.
That was a tall one. That wasn't the others. And so that's where Mother and Daddy
Okay.
lived for a long time. And this here's something about the circuit court.
yeah,
And
Mamie.
this is a deed.
Mamie told me that her nephew or somebody, he's a lawyer or something down in Baltimore.
Her grandson.
Well, anyway, she told me to write to him, but he never answered my letter.
Oh, I tried to get him to bring some things up here that he's got down there and let me make copies of it. I can't do anything with him. He's too busy. Then his father, Jackson, Mamie's son, just died with leukemia.
Oh, he did.
Let's see.
I did see a Lockhart in
Yeah,
the
that's
paper.
him. That was him. She only had the one son.
And
And,
I didn't recognize.
And he has a canoe runs a new canoe business over there where the lower house, the first house you come to is now.
Oh.
And he had cattle over there, and he made hay. And then his daddy left him the farm down here, down about a mile.
Mhm.
And then he built this big house that sits up in the woods. And he started complaining. Let's see. He started complaining, and he said he didn't felt his stomach bothered him. And then over weekend, and then on Tuesday, it got to hurting him so bad he went to the doctor. And then the doctor called him on Wednesday and said, get to the hospital at Winchester Hospital as soon as you can possibly get here. Well, he went over there and he had leukemia, acute leukemia, and they run tests and they was going to try to give him chemotherapy, and I think they gave him chemotherapy, but I think they had to almost tie him down because he hurt his hands and everything so much. And they said that he hadn't had it more than 3 weeks. And if he hadn't gotten to the hospital when he did, he'd been dead in 3 days. That's what I think I'd prefer to have been dead in 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, he died from the day he went to the doctor. He died to the very day in 2 weeks.
How about
Stayed
that?
home the first time.
Well, you see, they didn't know what was wrong.
Well,
See?
that worked.
But
best on him.
they told him that they said that he would with the chemotherapy they'd give him 12 months to a year to 18 months.
Boy, I'm telling you that.
Well, I'll tell you that. Task girl.
Now Raymond had leukemia, but he had the acute baby kind, but he didn't live for 9 months. But that was longer than Jackson lived.
Was a young lady there in Strasburg, 21, married a cat boy. She was a Leonberger, married a cat boy, and she kept feeling weak and kept going to the doctor, and he was treating her for flu.
Well, they
this,
asked
that,
him
and
if
the
he
other,
felt tired and everything. He said not that he recalled them, but then
well, she was
after this-
tired and couldn't take care of the
well,
babies.
Raymond got tired.
She had 2 little
He
babies.
kept getting tighter and tighter and tighter and just couldn't go. And but oh Lord, that chemotherapy! I mean, he got to the point where he couldn't swallow, his mouth got sore
That's
and all that
terrible
stuff. I don't know whether I would want I don't know what I'd do. But if they told me and said take chemotherapy, if I would be in my right mind of what I think now, I'd say no thanks.
You don't know which is the worst.
But if
of
they
the
say
two.
you got a chance,
A chance.
well then who knows what you're going to say. But after seeing what so many of them went through with and everything, and it hasn't done any good. Now Lois told me, she said, Mother, she said they have in lots of cases they have and said even they have given the chemotherapy, and she said they went in remission and they will have a long life.
Yeah, after
But
once in a while.
So you see, you just don't know.
Well, this task girl, they took her to Winchester and they did a blood test and immediately sent her to Charlottesville. She had leukemia in a bad way and she was dead within a week. She didn't even know it until 1 week.
Well, you see that now they got this unit over there or something, a cancer unit or something, and they say that doctor, whatever his name is, I can't think what his name is, but they said that's one of the best cancer doctors in the country, so I've heard.
At Winchester. Yes, I've heard that
Yeah,
too.
he's treating a friend of mine too. She does have a couple of weeks left.
Well, down here's Richard Williamson. I mean, he was worked with Shin Gas. He was the boss at what was the name of it before they changed it to Shin Gas? Well, no, it was Shin Gas, and now it's the Mirror. There comes another man. I bet he wants honey too.
You're really,
Some
you're
of
really getting the
Some
meaning
of
on.
some of them say, "Are you the honey lady?" I said, "Yeah, yes, I'm the honey lady."
That's a
I'm
good
sure that.
excuse.
See, I left after my dog died. I left the signs up because it's good insurance policy, and a lot of people want to get out. Which
I don't blame you.
people just go up and down the road. I don't want them coming in my
Oh,
house.
no, sir. Leave it right up there.
She can open the door and say, "Hello, honey."
I'm pictures straight up here so
Oh, no.
little clip of poos on there just might.
Well, I laid it back there because I,
Well,
didn't want
that's
the
all
hook- I didn't want the hook in the couch. Lay it right there and she put it away when she
I
comes
said,
in.
let's sit it up. Because I don't want to scratch the...
That's where my mother was born, in that house.
Mhm. And you was born back at the old house.
And, yeah, over Granddaddy Clover's, just over 2 hills.
Well, now,
Do I remember this house or not?
Oh, my, yes, you should.
it's still up
It's
there.
all, that house is solid as a dollar.
Isn't that where I went to see Aunt Grace?
Yes. My mother was an only child, and see, she inherited that. And so that's where she lived her days. And
People don't inherit much anymore because the doctors take it.
that's the truth. That's the truth. But right over 2 hills behind that, like coming this way.
Well, now, how
where
did you...
Granddaddy lived.
You told me you all lived down at the Thornton Ritenour place, too.
Well, when Daddy got married, see, Daddy and Mom were neighbors, and he was 7 years older than her. She even went to school to him, and he's an old boy. She didn't care anything about him, but so it seems that after
He was
she,
real nice.
but-
He said, I would like to have some honey. And so,
watch that when they call it honey.
but people come in here to get that honey. See, he extracts it in strings.
Yeah,
And it's like it comes from the beehive.
Yeah,
It's not made hot or nothing. And so, when Denny first took it off up here, let's see, came up for Jackson's funeral and then took it off that weekend, Saturday. And I said, don't you put that sign up down there. I said, Mom's just fizzled. I was tired, everything. And then when he said he was going to come up, I don't know what I'd been doing, but everything was, I was so tired and felt so tired and worn out. And then he said, when he said he's going to take the honey off, and that's a big job. Because when you extract it, and then you got to put it in the jars. See, I had to carry the jars up, wash them in the dishwasher, sterilize them, then pack them in boxes and carry them back downstairs. And then I canned up all that stuff and put all the lid stuff on it. And I said, I am fizzled. I said, I'll get it up some way. I said, don't you put it up. So then I put it up Monday. But it's gone. It's gone. One lady from Arlington, Arlington, I believe it is, called me and wanted 6 quarts. But they're the people that come one year and they gave them for Christmas gifts. And I think they must have wound up with about 20, 25 quarts all total that year. And last year she didn't get here, and they got just the last couple of pints we had. And so they were so disappointed, so I thought, well, and she'll send me cans and things, during the year to save them for me. And I thought, well, anybody's that nice, you feel bad about them not getting some. So I got her address and dropped her a card. So she called me and told me she'd save her, she didn't get it, saved her 6 quarts. And if there's any left when she comes, well, she probably wind up getting more than that. I don't know.
I bet so too.
Well, one man come in here and got 2 quarts one day. He said he wanted 2 quarts, and when he saw it, he said, that looks so good, I want 4. But I don't stay home to sell it. If I want to go somewhere, I go.
All those poor little bees working their little life.
They work their little tails off this hot weather.
That's all they know.
Well, now, he extracted 17 gallon off of 2 hives.
How about that?
Last year, last year, the 2 hives, he got 13 gallon. But the one hive, he stacked up, he had the hives up there, and he wanted to bring the other hive that had died the year before. He wanted to bring those things down. So he put the supers back up there, and he didn't know when he was going to get back. And so he stacked them up. He said, Mother, I just hope to God that thing don't turn over. And he was scared, afraid it would, the weight, would turn it over. So then while he was here, when he went to put them back up there, he dug down, put cinder blocks, and fixed it more on the level. So he said, I won't have to worry about it next year. So.
Do the bees bother him?
But that's his hobby.
No, but do they bother him?
No, he very seldom ever gets a bee stung. But I said, I think of something else besides bees. I'm working with bees for a hobby. He said, Mother, I like it.
Well, yeah, people that are...
Oh, he just happens a lot and just enjoys getting up and working with them bees.
The bees know it, too. And they're never going to get him.
Well, now, in a couple winters, they got down and he said, maybe they ought to have some sugar water. So I said, well, the Gil came up and put his garb on, went up there. So, and I told him, in the winter, you have to put something in there because the mice will go in there and get them, get their honey and get them, I guess. I don't know what to do. But anyway, they just leave a little place like this for them to come in and out. Then in the spring, you see, when it gets warm enough, that's got to be taken out so they can go free.
Yeah.
And so I said, Denny, if you don't get up here, I said, if you figure up a patent on it. I said, like I tell you, I said, I might convince her and pull it off. So I said, you just take and put a little staple in there and put a piece of wire on there and run it out there or a string or something and put your stake up there. And I said, I can go up there and be out from it. And I said, with my golf cart, see, I can't walk up there, but I can take my golf cart and go up there. And I said, I can pull them out. So this spring, I pulled them out. And so he had put a couple cans of sugar water up there. So the one can, I didn't venture over to because it had a lot of bees. But the other one over, I ventured up and took the can off and brought the can home. I didn't have anything on but just I had a thing over my head.
But they get used to you.
Well, it ain't used to be. I'm not around them that much.
I know, but they know. They know.
Well, you don't want to go up there and just go racing up for something. And one time I did go up there and take a gallon when he had the thing on the top. And you had to take the gallon can, take it off, and then put the other one. And when you took it off, that's when the bees would come out the top. But then you had to ease the other one on there and turn it back. I have done it, but I don't want to do it. But what don't you do for your kids?
Oh,
Yeah, right.
Oh.
No,
Well, I couldn't do that because I don't want them bee stings would kill me if I get them things.
Well, now, Jackson, the one that died with leukemia, a bee stung him when he was a kid, and they said if 2 bees would sting him at one time, they'd kill him.
Well,
There's people definitely allergic to them, and you cannot be allergic to them, and then all of a sudden you can get allergic to them too.
Yeah, that's right. Your system gets.
That's right. I mean, so my eyes has been bothering me so, and I said, well, they bothered me, and so I made an appointment with my eye doctor. Went down and he checked them out, and he said, well, try this no tears for a few days and see if that helped. If it didn't, he said, then have my prescription filled. He gave me allergy drops to put in my eyes. And I put it in there twice Sunday before I went to church. I would have got up, and then they got to bother me so bad, and it was all puffed up and all red. And one of a friend of mine, I pulled up my glasses, and I said, look what my eyes looks like. She said, God, she said, they're blue underneath. And I thought so. But I went to Ruin one time years ago, and to have my eyes change my glasses. They didn't need changing, but he gave me allergy drops. That's why I knew that, I'm allergic to everything. That's one reason why I took them bushes out here. I sat out there when he's cutting them off the other Saturday, and when he's cutting this, and the air was going that way, and when he cut that one over, I had to come in and get a mask and put on. And when I trim them, I'd have to take a 50 milligrams of Benadryl and put a mask on, and then I felt like I'd eat the things.
I don't have that problem outside, but I got it with any kind of household cleaner, like when I go to scrub the shower or something. When I get done, I have a 2-week cold.
Well, it's an allergy type thing. Well, I'm allergic to all the evergreens, the greens, all that stuff outside, grass, everything. Before I started taking allergy shots, if I opened the door when Jim was born and he had mowed the yard, well, I felt like I'd eat it. And I'm allergic to dust and mold. You know what? Back from when your mother was still living, we'd come to Florida and they'd go for drives, and the kids and they'd put the windows down, and I'd just choke up so I couldn't get my breath. So it got so bad I had to put the windows up, and the kids said, well, you just smothering us to death, and Jim was hot, So they wanted to go for a drive one, and I said, y'all just go. That's goodbye. And they said, well, we ain't going, you don't go. I said, look, I don't want to punish you all keeping the windows up, and I can't take it with the windows down. So I said, you all go, but they wouldn't go. And it was my fault. And then when he tested me, I'm allergic to white potatoes, corn products, whole wheat, coffee, shellfish, and God knows what else, but I was tested for them. Now, how about that?
Well, people should get tested, because if you don't,
well, they can carry it. Well, you see, when I get diarrhea, and I mean, just feel like I'm raw all the way through when I'm allergic for something
you
I
don't
eat.
know what you can eat and what you can't. Well,
Well, I don't think she can eat very much the way she's talking. I don't see how she stays so heavy.
Why?
Well, I bet you I haven't eaten a potato. I eat one once in a while, but I bet you I haven't eaten a potato for I don't know how long.
How about the honey? Can you eat honey?
Yeah, as far as I know.
Okay, did you ever think about that?
Yeah, but I thought, well, now that sweet stuff will make me fat, so I haven't done it.
No, but I mean, from where they get the nectar from.
Yeah, but the bees that's within so many miles of where you live, if you eat honey, it's supposed to help your allergies. Yeah.
Because I know I can eat some honey that makes me feel bad, and then other honey, it's made from, it says clover and different.
Well, it's probably not close to where you live.
Well, no, because you know.
Yeah, right. But it's the honey that helps your allergies that's made within a certain area range. Yeah. So I can eat this honey, and it's supposed to help me, but I don't eat. I kept me 2 quarts. I kept me 2 quarts last. Let's see, I kept a quart last year. And one lady said, well, I wanted a pint so bad, and they saved cans for me, so I poured her pint out of my honey and took it to her. And so this year I said, you want any honey? She said, yes. She said, that's my cough medicine. She makes cough medicine with me.
Well, now they tell me it's about the best thing there is.
And so she wanted a pint, and so I tried to remember the ones, that...
Horses, it's good for horses.
Yeah.
Well, how do you mix it? I've used it with vinegar and warm water and for cough. But how else?
Well, I don't know how they do it.
Well, my uncle George,
do they put a whole hand of candy or
he
something?
He just took it like it is and just took a spoonful of it and let it get back in his throat, And
well, a lot of that they did cough in them days was probably allergy, and they never heard tell of it. Just everything was gangrene instead of cancer today.
They didn't know there was a thing called allergy then.
No.
We didn't hear about allergies until the last 10 years.
Yeah, right. Now, when I went to Chicago when Jim was up there that winter, and when I come back, I got allergies so bad, and I had it. Well, I called it sinus. My face hurt me so bad and I went to doctors, and when I lay down, it felt like hammers were beating in my head. And so finally, then my throat would get sore, and I go to the doctor.
Yeah, I got it running.
I thought this was running. Did you put yours on?
No, mine's a running.
Oh, well, don't make no difference. We just listened to the whole conversation. So anyway, they give me penicillin, give me all this stuff, and I take it, and my throat would get a little better and get a little better, and next thing I know, it's right back again. So when Dr. Eastham, I went to Dr. Eastham on Friday, and he gave me a big shot of penicillin and gave me pills for the weekend. I was supposed to go back to see him on Monday, and his mother had died. I said, well, I was working his plant. I said, well, I've been talking about going to a nose and throat specialist. I might as well stay home and go. So I went out there, made an appointment, went out to see Timberlake. So he treated my sinuses and all, and then he tested me. And I was allergic to all that stuff. And so since to this day, that was in 75, to this day, I bet you for my throat or anything, I bet you I haven't had 3 prescriptions for antibiotics. I haven't had sinus. So it wasn't a thing in the world but allergies. So but all this sinus that people get, it's nothing in the world but allergies. They're allergic to something. 9 times out of 10.
You stop to think about all the different kinds of things there is that could affect people.
Yeah.
That you have to wonder there's more of
Well,
it.
there's more of it this summer, too, because you get out, it's so dry, and the dust and everything else, and that heat and everything out there and all. Well, I tell you, it's about to kill me
See,
this
we're
summer.
hurting for rain right now.
Yeah, right.
And it's affecting you and everybody else
That's
that
right.
has trouble like that.
That's right.
Yeah.
And all that, when in spring, when all them blooms comes out, that
Yeah.
pollen and all,
Yeah.
boy, it really fixes you up. You look on your car and see all that old yellow stuff, you know what's wrong with you. Nope, it's something else.
That's like one morning I went to church and I was going around hill. Well, I went in the door and somebody had bought a great big basket of goldenrod and set it up on the right corner in front of everybody. Well, there's about 6 or 8 in there sneezing and
Sneezing,
coughing and a carrying on.
already going on.
And I looked over at one and I said, well, either that goes or I have to go, one or the other. And I said, who in God's name would think to bring a bouquet of goldenrod in the church on Sunday morning?
Ain't that the
When you
truth?
have a choir up for trying to sing. So the piano player came in and I asked her, I said, Ruby, who in the world brought that goldenrod in? Well, I did. I thought it
I
was
said, well,
you.
you better go take it out or I go.
I said, well, either you have to put it outside or there's about 6 or 8 of us has to go home.
She probably didn't even realize.
Didn't think, don't have
She
no
said,
allergy
I
or
never
something.
thought about it. Well, she's
No.
a nurse.
Yeah, but even the nurse,
That
honey, they don't,
didn't
unless
affect her.
unless they have a problem themselves, they don't think about it.
Oh,
She
that's
said,
it.
well, I never thought about that. I just thought it was pretty. I said, well, it is pretty. I agree.
Well, when I go out here to mow, well, I put a mask on mostly.
You're
I got
allergic.
so I
you
put a
should.
mask on when I scrub the sink and shower and
It
stuff.
helps, though.
And it helps, but it's
It's
still,
still some goes behind it.
and
How do you keep it from fogging up your glasses? I put mine on and my glasses
well,
don't
I take the
fog.
glasses off.
Well, then I can't see what I'm doing. Wouldn't be any
Well,
I wouldn't figure
Well, I
out
stick
things.
mine right here like this.
Francis, if I do it in the morning, I got eyesight good enough in the morning before it gets dark. I can read the newspaper.
Well, you're lucky.
Yeah.
Yes, she is.
So that's when I try doing
God, if I
it.
take this off, I can't even.
No, things get all, and this is just,
But you know, these tinted
I can
glasses
see
will make
those.
you blind.
I can see the pictures and
but
things,
you
I
know,
can't
this
read
has
with
just
mine on.
happened to me in the last less than a year.
But these
You
tinted
know, I
glasses
never
will make
wore
you blind.
glasses, never
They
had
go in your
to
eyes.
see years ago.
I couldn't live without them.
Yeah,
Well-
but you're better off without them.
Well, maybe so, but
I find it. If
Well, when
get-
I never wore them either when I went to work at Bluebell. Then in that close work, you know. But I wore them before that. But though I went to one that wasn't an MD, and he put glasses on me, and I wore them in those frameless ones, and the kids would bump me in the eye and break them and call me Rubberneck. One time I went down, I said, I guess I'm gonna have to name you Rubberneck. I said, well, I don't know what you're gonna do about it. So then I went back for him one time, and he changed them, and I was stepping upside down, and I was doing everything. It wasn't bifocals, just regular glasses. So I went he said, I went back, and he said, well, it said there's something medically. So I went to Dr. Lynn, and Dr. Lynn checked on. He said, oh, there ain't nothing wrong with you, that caused that. And so he said, you go back and tell him. I went back and told him. He said, well, he said, no, nothing to do about it. So I went back to Dr. Lynn, and Dr. Lynn said, well, you go to Dr. Anderson, Winchester. So I went over there, and he said, I never had needed them in the first place. He said, now he says, when you get to be about 38 or 40, he said, then you may have to have glasses for reading or have glasses. But said, not before then. So, then when I went to work at Bluebell, it was longer than that. Let's see, I don't know. Let's see, I went up there in, I worked 4 years, and I left up there in 64, so anyway. So, anyway, they said that Gilbert knew Ray Mamie, and a lot of people was going to him, you know, that had gone to doctors in Hagerstown, or so they said, eye doctors, I don't know what kind of one, and they said he was the best there was. And I thought, well, I've just got to have glasses for so in there, that's all that's necessary, so I went. And I couldn't wear the things, and I went back. He changed them, changed them. I couldn't wear them. He said, well, you're going to have to settle down with them. I said, well, I thought I tried to. And so he said, if you have any more, too much problem, well, call me. So I was down at Leggett's when they had it there on the other side of the bridge. And so I called him, and he said, well, I don't know what else to do for you. So I thought, okay. I was crazy, wasn't I? So I called up Dr. Anderson, and I made an appointment. I went back to Winchester, Dr. Anderson. I took the glasses I was wearing. I walked in with them in my hand, and I don't know whether he got it from, looked on the record to see if it wasn't what he had given me, what I had before that or not. But anyway, he said, well, I told you that when you got to be 38 or 40, you'd probably have to have them. But he said, you got close work. He said, now, I can give you, he said, your eyes is oval, both of them shaped just alike. He said, I can give you dime store glasses and tell you what to get. But he said, getting up and down from the machine, you might fall. Just for sewing. So, then of course he made the top more clear, but then he put the bifocals for the bottom for the sewing, see? But once you start wearing bifocals, then you ain't going to, you're sunk.
You know, the other...
Because you look through that 8 hours a day, then your eyes is going to adjust to that more.
Mm-hmm. See, the other glasses I had, they had that bifocal clear across. My first ones just had a little spot, and they went and put them clear across. And when I went back to get these, I told them, I said, I don't want that bifocal clear across there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, don't you read? I said, yes, I read a lot.
Well, mine don't go all the way across, but I read with mine, and I'm
He said, you got to move your head. So I said, well, I'd rather move my head. And when I look down the steps, I can see where I'm going.
Ain't that the truth?
Scribbles put their head way
That's
down.
right. And you'll get glasses like that, you do like I did, end up with a...
So I wore those glasses that he put on me for I don't know how many years, and I never had no more problems. So I said, never again. I said, I was dumb twice. Never again will I go to anybody that's not an MD.
That's right.
I go to Dr. Eggleston up in Harrison.
Well, I went to Dr. Rulin then after he came out here. And then when he went to doing that surgery, and only one day a week over here, well, they'd switch you from one room to the other, you know, and working at the plant, and you had to get out, and him having all those people coming in there and all, you couldn't hardly get out. So then Dr. Canal come out here, and she was an MD, and I thought, well, if she's an MD, I'll go to her, because you get in and get out. See, she wasn't doing all that surgery, and so I went to her, and then after Jim died, the first summer, he died in May, and then in the summer, I started threatening with a Jeanette Ritenour. And I went to go to bed one night, and I mean, these lights were just flashing in my eyes, going to bed, and then in the daytime, these black things was flashing, so it hit me.
I got them both eyes.
It hit me. Well, these I've had little shadows, but I mean, this just like you was flashing a flashlight at you. And so I remembered Virginia Brown up here on the hill, that she had that, and Dr. Rulin did the surgery. Because I thought, well, I ain't going to Canal, because she'd send me to Washington or Baltimore or to Richmond, and I don't have nobody take me those places. So I called her and I said, Virginia, how did you complain when you had that detached retina? She told me it was identical to what I was doing. And so then I called that was on Wednesday morning. I waited till Thursday morning to call Rulin's office out here, but he wasn't over here that day. And she suggested I come to Winchester. I said, well, I can't. I said, well, I drive with hand controls, and I said, I'm not familiar. And I said, so I wouldn't know where I was going or nothing else. So she said, well, she said, then I said to her, I had heard Rulin didn't work with her. And I said to the girl, I said, well, what about me going to Dr. Canal and then see what she says and getting back with Dr. Rulin? See, I didn't tell him I wasn't coming to Rulin still. Mm-hmm. And she didn't answer me. She said, well, what about Dr. Fink? And I said, well, where is he? She said, they're in front row. She gave me the number, and I called. And it turned out that he's one of the best in the country, and he can use laser, and he can do anything under the sun. Mm-hmm. So I made an appointment, I went to see him, and I never had such a checkup in all my life. I mean checkup. And so when he had me come back in 6 months, he said that he showed me a picture of an eyeball that he had on a picture on the wall. He said, we call he told me the name of it, but said, we call this jelly.
Right.
And he said that as you get older, that hardens.
Right.
And he says sometimes what causes these floaters is that it pulls. And he said, if it gets a hole or tears, he said, then we have to repair it. But he said, I don't see no holes or nothing to be repaired. But he said, so I'm going to check you again in 6 months. Well, I went back and he said something about looking for the freckle in my eye. I said, what is a freckle?
I've never heard of that.
Well, he told me another name, but he called it a freckle.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little something that's behind this eye. And so he had to put the drops in to dilate your eyes when they do that.
To
see?
examine them.
To see it. Mm-hmm. But he tried to see it the next time I went back without. But he couldn't, so he had to put the drops in. But, of course, he put them in both eyes. So then the next time I went back, and 6 months long, and then he put me off till a year. Or was it a year? I don't know. Anyway, he tried to see it, and he saw it without putting the drops in, to dilate your eyes. So then the last time I was there, he couldn't see it without. I said, well, maybe it's gone.
Yeah.
He said, we'll see. He said, do you mind? He said, I'll just put it in this eye. He said, do you mind? I said, no. Fine with me. So, but he said, yeah. He said, but it hasn't changed or anything. No change or nothing in it. So I still don't know really what a freckle is. But he told me the other name of it. But
see, I have a vitreous detachment. Not that's what mine are. These floaters. And it first come in the one eye when I had this small stroke, and then about a year later started getting in my left eye. Mm-hmm. And he's watched them because he said you can wake up one morning and your shade's completely full.
Yeah. Well, now, a friend of mine out on Strasburg Road, she went to the canal too, and she told her she had a dry socket and gave her these drops to put in her eye, some kind of drops to put in her eye, but it wasn't those teardrops, it was something else. And had her going back to her, and she got an infection in it. And she kept going back, and she kept on fooling with her out here, and then finally she had lost the sight in it, or was so near gone that she couldn't see hardly anything. So finally she sent her to Charlottesville, to Smith. So Smith doctored her for a while, but Smith didn't send her back to her. She sent her to Dr. Fink. Mm-hmm. And when Dr. Anderson retired winter before last, I was down there, my appointment was in February, and I was down there, and this man was in there, and he was laughing. He said, Dr. Anderson told me that Dr. Fink was the best in this part of the country. The best you'd find except him. Except him. Mm-hmm. See? Well, Anderson was good, though.
No, I worked in their office right in front of him.
Yep.
Lorraine Wiseman here in Woodstock, just an optometry student.
Yeah, he's not MD either.
Well, anyway, he put bifocals on Lorraine. And she wasn't 21 years old. And she couldn't see, so she went down to see Dr. Anderson. And when she walked in, he took one look at her and took the glasses off of her and threw them on the floor and stomped them. He said, now that's what I think of Dr. Wiseman putting glasses on bifocals.
Well, you see, another thing,
Wiseman,
and this one up here, can't think of his name now, Lou Ray, and that first one I had, that type of doctor, they tell me cannot put drops in your eye. They say they check you for glaucoma and all this stuff. They can't do it because they're not licensed to put those kind of drops in your eyes. You couldn't stand the pressure that goes, that they use this machine if,
I only will
without
see
it.
an ophthalmologist, I won't see an optometrist.
Well, I'm
or
not
an
either.
oculist.
I'm not either, honey. No way. But Dr. Fink, I mean, he uses a laser and everything. So I said, well, if he can use a laser and all that stuff, he's one of the best. So I told him that day when I went to him for the emergency appointment. I said, if you'll have me, I'm just going to stay with you. And he just grinned.
Well, see, when they examined my eyes, that was Dr. Keenan that used to be in with ruling.
Yeah, I remember Keenan.
And I went in there, and he raised my eyelid, and he'd have me look down, and he'd run something up in there. I thought he was cutting my eye out. Well, that man Harrisonburg don't have such a contraption. He has you to close your eye and look down, and he put that right on top of your eye. And what you get in your own, you can see your own veins in your eyes. You see what he sees.
Right.
And he don't hurt you.
Well, I
Well, no.
sometimes believe that these doctors, maybe I'm wrong, but I believe they do these things to cause problems so you'll keep coming back.
Right.
Well, I never did hear that Keenan had the reputation that Ruin had. He worked in Ruin's office. But now I know Ruin, when he did the implant, the cataract on Daddy's eye, they said that he was the only one in this area around here towards Florida, going towards Florida even. They said that could do the implant.
Well, didn't Keenan, he had to give up certain...
But didn't Keenan come to Woodstock for a while?
Yeah, but
He
had
still
to give
does, I
up.
think.
Yeah, but he had to give up either seeing patients or give up his surgery. He had too much, and he had to, who was telling me this? They had an appointment with him.
I don't know, but he did Leona's surgery, and she thinks he's wonderful.
And he said he was going to give up something because he was going to keep on doing the implant.
No, he might do the implant. I don't know.
Yeah, Keenan does implants.
Yeah. Well, at that time, Keenan hadn't come yet when Ruin did this, and they said that. So.
And I don't like his personality, and he's just rush.
There was somebody that was telling me this.
Who you mean, Ken, Mr.
Yeah.
Rush Man?
Yes.
Well, Dr. Fink don't rush you.
Edelson don't either. He just got time to sit down in there and explain everything to you.
Right, that's
and
what he
before
did.
you go out, he'll say, now, is
Do
there
you
any
understand it, or any questions?
Right.
That's
That's what they
what
should do.
That's what Fink does. He says, do you understand now? Are there any questions or anything that you'd like to ask?
Well, I go to leg.
I've heard
going
he
to
was
leg
pretty
for
good.
years and years and years, and
I
a
think
lot of people don't
that's
like
who
him, but
Gertrude
he's
goes
always
to.
treated me good, and
I think that's who Gertrude goes
he's
to.
made, his office appointments now is $50 though. He's raised them up to like $50.
Well, now, somebody said that Fink was higher. Well, Fink's, when he checks my whole eyes and does all that, it's like 38, 39.
Well,
Who is this you just said?
Fink.
Fink. You got F-I-N-K. We got F-I-N-K-S over there.
Well, we
with
got, this is Alan Fink. He lives
Uh-huh.
out here,
Mhm.
has a big, nice home out here towards
Yeah,
on the golf
mhm.
courses.
Yeah.
So he's right here
Mhm.
if you need him.
But,
well, I don't know. I've always gone to Megan. I've heard others say, "Oh, he's no good."
Well, I remember Leg a long time ago, from when he first probably
Well,
came over
when he
there.
moved his office
And they
out
said
to the hospital, his office is out at the hospital now
Mhm.
in Chester, and I went out there, and I didn't know where it was, so I went over to ask the candy stripe girl sitting there at the desk, and it was an elderly lady leaning over talking to her. She was writing something, and I asked the lady, I said, "Could you tell me which direction is Dr. Legg's office?" And this woman raised up and she said, "You open that front door and you walk out the door, turn left, and run like hell." And I looked at her and I said, "I beg your pardon." And a little girl, she said, her eyes hanging open, her mouth open. And I said, she said, this woman said, "I mean it." She said, "He blinded me." Well, she was sitting there writing. Said, "He blinded me." So I said, "Go out that door, turn left, and run like hell. You don't want to see him."
now, who was that, Dr. Leg?
Yeah. And so I stood there a little bit and I looked down at the girl and I said, "Well, which direction is his office?" And she said, "Right back there." And I went back, so I went in. Dr. Leg, when I went in, he always asked me, see, I used to work for a doctor that
Yeah.
was real good friends, and he always asked me if I heard from him. He sat And I said, Dr. Lane, I said, what in the world's happened to you? I said, I asked out front how to get here, and I said, this lady told me to go out the front door, turn left, and run like hell. And he looked at me. He said, is that what that girl told you? I said, no, not the girl, the older woman that was standing there. He said she was just kidding, wasn't she?
We've seen that picture before. That goes
Well,
way
now,
back.
they couldn't live in Germany
Yes, I do.
because
Okay.
back in
Now, I
those
don't
days
need
you
this
couldn't
one.
have an Irish wife.
I've got
They
this
couldn't
one
live in
here.
Ireland because
Well,
she
I'll
couldn't be
tell you-
married to a German.
Yep.
So they
See.
had to come to America.
Okay.
That's how we got
and
here.
we got-
If they wouldn't have come, we wouldn't
No,
have
we
been here.
wouldn't be here, that's for
But
But
sure.
this is the beginning of the
This
Ploggers.
is her.
It came to
my
this
father,
country.
Jim's
Oh,
father.
okay.
That's a good
Okay.
picture.
And then this was Jim when he was little.
Oh.
His eyes never
They
changed.
never smiled.
Never
That
changed.
sure
Then
is.
this was
Yep.
them when
Is that
when
your
they had
picture?
No,
Some
we
of the
got this
children.
off of Lucy.
You all got that off of my sister.
Yeah, she's got a big album down there. This
Well,
is the first
she got
one.
all the pictures in because I never ever saw that picture before.
How's the road in over at Lucy's?
It's okay.
You can get
Now,
in if
who's
you're
this?
careful. And
who's-
David's cleaned up the
A
road
Dellinger.
and cut the brush out.
And
And
Dellinger girl up
Oh,
there.
there's
No,
a few water
this
breakers
is a
on the
different
wall.
one.
Oh,
And I didn't have
let
any
me
trouble.
see
I
if
was
it
never in my
hasn't been
van.
anywhere.
Yeah,
Well, I
but
just wondered. I may have to.
I don't know for sure. She looks like a Dellinger, but I don't think it was. I didn't think it was. She's got to
I
be a
don't think
plugger if she's in this
She wouldn't
book.
have any problems
So
getting
I
us
don't
Lucy's
know
in
who
her
she
car,
is.
would she now? David's
let me
I
see.
don't
Let
know.
me see if she knows who it is.
I don't think so.
That's the reason she didn't come
All of
today.
you know who that is.
No, honey, I don't have no. I don't know
See,
any
they
of them.
keep telling me
You didn't give me one of these, did you?
I may have. I don't know. I was looking here to see if I have another.
Well, if you didn't, I want one because I want this to give this to my.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind having about.
I'm
three
going
of
to
those.
start a book.
You need a paper to write down what we want.
Yes, I should. If you want more than that one, my pea brain wouldn't take it.
And there's you'll know what.
Now this Joseph Plugger here
That's
is
the
not
one
our
that she's got
grandfather
there.
that they're talking about there. It's got to be an uncle of his or something. Jacob doesn't give you any years on it here at all to give you an idea how long ago that picture was made. But it's a long, long
It
time.
was back in the 70s.
You want
They-
three?
They came here.
Mhm.
They
Yes,
Francis
came
wants
here in
one.
Yeah.
1820.
Well, is this James Munch that died in May 1928? Is that Granddaddy Munch?
Who now?
James Munch? James W. Munch?
Yes, James William Munch.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, that's right.
And who were they?
They were Boyers.
Okay.
That's Sam Boyer just died, and William.
Whose
that's his
pictures are
parents.
these? Hers?
Jeanette.
These are yours. I never saw that picture. These pictures you're showing me before.
Well, all them and this you did because it took them over
No,
to your house.
no, this and
The
this
back
and
one
these
there,
are loose.
yeah.
There's a couple of them here I never
Was
saw.
these the who were
Sisters of Granddaddy Plugger.
they? Okay.
But see, Frances has got this woman here with the, see the bottom of her dress?
Yeah.
Look, got little design in
Well,
it.
maybe that's a pocketbook she had or an apron she
Well,
had on.
anyway, Frances has one of them.
I have a picture of this on a tin,
Uh-huh.
and if you can see the bottom dress, and it's like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I
yeah.
have the big one
And,
busted
and
here
who was
up.
this? Who was this one?
That's a sister to her. I don't know who
Sister
they
to
are.
her. Uh-huh.
Yes,
And nobody knows who that is, huh?
well, they told me she was Annie Plogger.
Yeah, that's the sister to Uncle George and Daddy.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
She married little Hugh over in the grave.
Every one of them was silver.
Annie,
I tell you one
I'm
thing.
gonna laugh. I can't help it, cause.
Annie married little Hugh over in Luray.
But we also had an Annie that was Lee's and Billy's sister too. That wouldn't have been her, would it?
Lee and Billy didn't have an Annie.
Yes, we did.
Yes,
Mama and
she
them had a
did.
sister named Annie that died in childbirth
Oh.
when she was about 16 or 17 years
what
old.
What else is that?
But the child didn't grow up.
No, huh? That is Ed and Mabel
Ritenour.
Ritenour's house.
Uh-huh.
I think it's there in the fort, and that's the Addison Munch house, or not Addison, but the Daniel Munch house. They took it over from over at Althea's home place on the hill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, that's where Cyril and them live.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
okay,
uh-huh.
okay. Well, that was that where what about Granddaddy Munch? Was he born to live there?
Where? In
Over
which,
where Cyril lived?
no,
No, okay.
no, that's a different family of Munches.
Yeah, that's Margaret.
where
now,
my
Mabel
where my parents lived and we lived.
Was that
That's the original. That's
house?
the original.
Well, now I got that. I took that picture and had it enlarged to 8
Well,
by
that's the
10, so I
original one.
got that for it.
There's a little shape girl there that burned over in the fort, but
Yeah.
we can't figure that one out because she was 20 years old when
Oh,
she
that,
died.
which
The
one?
Pauline
Hetty,
Shape.
Hetty
Oh,
Barber.
yeah.
I remember Hetty
Well, how
was.
old was she when she burned?
About 4 years old, I believe.
And she lived to 20 years old?
Yeah, yeah. But she was in an awful shape.
Well, who was Hetty Bar Munch? Who was she kin to?
Well, she's kin to my mother.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, was she Frank's daughter?
Hetty is a sister to Will Barr and
She's a little girl. I don't know who she is.
over in the
We'll
fort.
find out soon,
She's a
maybe.
Yates.
and what
She's
other
out
Barrs
at-
is over there?
Alden Ritenour and
Yates.
Yateses.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's who that was.
I like those pictures the way they done them, but I sent more in for reprints like them, and all of them getting back some little ones. I have
Well,
read.
what I do instead of getting these albums, I just go ahead and get the prints and everybody. That's the size they are there. You
I
get
like
two for
that.
the price of one.
I like
Well,
that
this
right
was 2
there.
for 1.
Well,
I
I
had 30.
thought I was getting 2 for 1, and I was going to get one bunch I wanted like this, you know. And I got one little bunch of them. That was it. And I said, well, why didn't I get the second one? They said, well, you didn't. I said, I ain't on that deal, so I went back the other way.
And the other album they sent was just a 4 thing. Of course, I'm going to take them out of there, too. I mean, eventually, after I get them all decided who they are.
Who's that little boy? He's cute.
He's another one in Yates's.
Yeah, yeah. They were not relatives, really. They were
No.
just
Well,
friends.
now, they come from down at Ory's.
They were friends of the family.
They come from down at Ory's. Jenny Yates, you know, she married Jenny Ritenour,
Mhm. She
Virginia,
lived in Woodstock, the Yates woman did.
and then they married, yeah.
Well, I want one of those.
Oh, okay. I suspect I could just give you that and right out there. I don't know if I give Francis one of them or not.
Yes, you did.
Oh, I did? Well, then I don't have any more. So I'll,
Yes, you did.
okay.
What is that? What's on that?
Frank's
Who's
Granddaddy Munch's
memorial?
Memorial. How many do you want?
I just,
One
like
of 'em?
two.
Two.
I don't fix a book for each one of these kids, and I don't know. They waited till after Mama and Daddy both died. Then they'd like to have these books, all these things.
After you
I
can't
said-
ask them.
Yeah, after you can't ask them a lot of things. But I've got a lot on this, for instance. I mean, I went back and I got, a lot on them. But you just couldn't go backward so far on the plovers and on the lenses. Just not too far. So, anyway, so much for that. And let's see, there was another one. I thought there was. Oh, I want one of these of Annie, Granddaddy Plover's sister, wasn't it? Oh, I want one of those. Give me two of those, I guess.
Okay.
And two of this next one, too.
Anna and Mary.
And when you get them, just write on the back of them so I'll have an idea. I know.
Okay.
I won't know.
I haven't forgotten what you want about the
Yeah,
genealogy.
right.
I just
And then
have not
I
had
want
time to
two of
write it.
those.
Oh, okay, I put her down too.
Okay. And I think that's about it in this book.
Let me see that book a little bit.
Now, let's see. Now, I don't need one of those. I got one like that. And these others, I guess I want about two each of these.
Oh, Melvin Ritenour. Gracious sake. First one I look at here.
No, that's Fred Licklider.
Fred Licklider there, but they had two boys look so much alike. Yeah, that's Fred. I can see that right now, looking at him. I have some in my home now.
this a Yates?
School pictures when Mama was going to school, and I don't know how many pictures, different grades of different people.
There's the old home place.
But I don't know who they are.
Yeah, but you see what I did? I went through and took, had the pictures, and then I took and put them in the book with it. See what I mean? I did this at the library. A lot of them don't turn out real clear, but they're not too bad. But now you've got to get that thing set for different pictures. I had one on a tin in the stencil, and I thought, God, that won't come out. And I took it and I lightened it up for worked on it, and it came out better than some of the other pictures.
Did anybody here know this woman?
Who, hon? That woman?
Mm-hmm.
Well, her name's written on the back.
Yeah, I know. She was my daddy's girlfriend before he ever married my
Oh,
mother.
yeah, I remember you telling us that there.
Dellinger, was it?
No, Robinson.
Robinson.
Bertha.
Oh, Bertha.
There's pictures, with this world.
Oh.
I give Dennis the picture, so I don't know how to think. So I
That
don't think
picture of Jim's so cute down there.
Yeah.
In his dress.
Like I said, to put them in the book with the rest with it, a lot of writing, with you writing up and
I
things.
know, it's a job.
Well, it's just like that Susan. I don't know where to find her picture. I'd like to have that.
Did you ever notice the distressed look
I
on that
wasn't
little
big on
girl's
it.
face?
Yes, I did, but I couldn't, in my land, the
This was
15
given a couple
years
months before Jim and
after
I
she
got
was
married.
Really?
Yeah.
burnt. That's awful.
And she's so
There's
pitiful.
a couple months before Jim and I got married. I said I wasn't always big, was I?
No, none of us was.
I just wonder what happened along the way.
I'm weighed now what I weighed when I got married, 46 years.
Oh,
47
my
years
land.
ago.
Well, you're remarkable.
But I didn't always weigh this. I was up almost 200.
My Chris, it's like Ford Valley School picture here. That's me. No, wait a minute. Here I am. Up here.
You don't even know who you
No,
are.
here I am. I had my hair pulled back because I was in this age bracket. So this was a girl who was 2 years older than I, and this was my age.
There's the
yeah.
alma mater that
Yeah,
Jim
this
wrote
is me up here.
in their senior year, and it was a tune for Carolina Moon. He never told me that. I didn't know it till they had their 50th, class reunion, and they sang it, and then that's when I found it out.
Words written by James Paul.
Yeah.
Althea, who's this? I don't know where I got it.
I don't know, but the features of that man. No. No, I don't know him.
I don't know who it is. I get pictures. Oh, did you ever see any like that?
No.
Okay. No, see, I got them Xerox copies you all done, and then I got these that I took off of somebody's picture, but I don't know whose. But they said then that she had these, so I wanted to take.
Well, yeah, they're the same picture that, like I gave you those.
Yeah,
two.
but I took my camera and took them off, so each
Yeah.
time they lose a little.
Oh, yeah,
time.
right.
And, but anyway, he said she had them, but we was over there.
Well,
and
she's got the big pictures. She has got them upstairs. She probably didn't remember them.
I say we
When
couldn't.
you told me that, I thought that's what happened. You know. Because we drove down the living room and took them.
Now, these were Granddaddy Plugger's sisters, weren't they?
You
Don't
said
ask me, honey. I don't know. I didn't see them.
Yeah, Annie and Mary. Annie and Mary Plugger.
Okay.
Another Annie.
Mm-hmm.
Althea, did Joe Plummer make coffins too?
No,
with his
we
carpet.
might have in these early years that before I remember him, but he never
Honey,
did
push
after I
them things
could
away and
remember.
sit on that coffee table. Be like the height you want.
No, I
You
don't
wanna
want to
be
break
over
down
here.
your coffee
He
You
was
can
a
break the coffee
carpenter,
table.
I do know that.
Yeah.
I've sit on it before.
Well, now one of these here, these Xerox copies has that Anna and Mary as Anna and Deidre.
Anna and who?
Deidre.
We didn't have any Deidres in our
Well,
family.
that's what was wrote on these copies.
Mm-mm.
But I'd love to see the real picture of her and him.
Yeah, I know, but that's the only. See, whoever. You know who I believe brought that picture of Grandma and Granddaddy Plogger, Joe Plogger, and I believe those are the prints that you had took up there. It's a hitting me. Jenny Ann Kirkhoff had some pictures, and she loaned them to you, and you took them up there and had these copies made off of them. Now, I believe. And so, if so, Jenny Ann Kirkhoff or Jenny Ann Patterson would have those two pictures. I'll bet you. But she don't even, she sent me a Christmas card, but she
You
don't
mean
even
that-
answer me on that
which
stuff.
picture?
And I offered to pay for it.
These, Catherine and Joe.
I don't have those pictures.
No, but I say, if it hits me, it just now hit me that I believe
Probably.
that because you borrowed some pictures from Jenny Ann, and then I think you had those pictures made and gave us one.
And
I believe you did.
Jenny Ann live.
She lives in Romney, West Virginia.
Jeanette, let's go up one day.
Well, that's the address I gave you the other day. Remember? You haven't had time to look at
No,
it. I know.
that was just yesterday.
Well, yeah, that's
Now, if you
right.
don't find out anything, get some copies of Xerox copies or something made. I'll pay her for them. I don't
Well,
know. I
I've
don't know
got
to
my
give them.
cameras.
She
Yeah.
always takes your camera and
Yeah, but I mean the write-ups and things of that she got. She traced it back to to when they came over.
Well, see, I want to talk to her anyway because I think I have a big picture of her grandmother. Yeah,
Yeah.
Who's that?
Grandmother Lehue.
yeah.
You all said it was Annie.
And y'all said it was Granddaddy's sister. Granddaddy.
Uncle
Laura's
George
sister.
and Uncle Billy and
Yeah.
Daddy's sister Annie.
Yeah.
She married the Lehue.
Yeah.
Well, that's the one I think I.
Oh, that's Dora's mother then.
Yes, Dora's mother.
Yeah. Okay, now here, this Susan Peters, I don't know who's got that picture, because Althea didn't have it.
No.
I would like, you see,
That's it. I don't know where that is.
you
I
see,
just
this is a
love to get it,
strange
too.
thing. When Adam Peters married, what was the Keller girl's name? Catherine. When he married Catherine Keller, he was Adam Berner. And they wasn't married too long till he started going by Adam Peters. You see,
What was Adam Peters' grandmother Catherine's mother?
yeah, right. Okay. In 1830, my James Berner and Adam Berner paid their first taxes. They have to, when you become 21 years old, you have to pay personal property or whatever you call it, taxes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
But-
personal property then.
Well, they paid in 1830, and then whatever year him and her and or Adam married the Catherine, then shortly thereafter started using Peters. Well, in the same cemetery he's in is a woman by the name of Barbara Burner. But that Barbara Burner is buried as Barbara Burner, but she had married Peter Peters. Now, did she have all
Peter
these...
Peters, my Lord,
Did
they
she have-
didn't put it on him, nor did they?
Did she have all these kids as Barbara Burner by Peter Peters, and then they finally got married? Yeah, I know. If they stuck a name on me like that, but I just, and Catherine here, she's a sister. They're either not. They must be Burners rather than Peters.
It's just kind of like the Ritenours and the Barkers up there in the fort.
Yeah, Charlie.
They go by
Parker.
Ritenours one time, the next
Yeah.
time they go by Barkers. I never did know what it's called.
Yeah.
No, Barker's is all together
Althea.
fictitious nickname. They gave him.
Althea. Now here's them two girls, and some run had wrote on them Anna and Deidre.
Sisters of Granddaddy Plogger.
But you say
But
it's
they-
Anna and Mary.
But they put Deidre on it. Now I don't know
I
who this
don't know
was.
who put that on there.
This was on there when I got
And
it.
this they got, she was a master.
Amanda
That's right,
and Billy.
yeah.
Now that's my
Oh,
dad.
that was Uncle Billy's wife.
Yeah.
Well, that's the
Uh-huh.
first time I've ever seen a picture of her.
Well, that's
Oh, I
not.
thought, ooh,
That's
it's her.
That's
Yeah.
not good of her.
I must
Well, I
have
have
about
to
6
get,
or
get
8.
some of them and take some pictures, and get them. This is,
That's Susan, but I don't know who's got that picture. Now Althea did have this that I got the picture. It's still not very good.
is
but
that the old Granddaddy Plogger house
yeah,
over there?
Not in the fort. This is up in Buck Hill.
Okay.
But now, see, these things were given to me, and there that's
Yep.
got Deidre on there again.
But that chimney is
And that's in your picture.
there. That's of
Yeah,
Granddaddy Plogger's chimney.
Yeah, Althea has that, and she has this.
Mhm.
And I reckon she had this too.
Yeah,
I know
think
Francis
so.
has
Yeah,
got
I
it.
think I think I had Uncle Billy and
I got to
Ben.
get back into getting some of this stuff straightened up here. I got into everything else this summer and spring.
Now this in here, somebody made it a little bigger to get more of the house and cut some of it out, which is all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Well, these are somebody else here. Yeah, these are somebody
Can I
else.
get you bring me another chair?
No, I need to sit on something straight.
I'm in a straight chair, honey.
This is fine if it's all right.
This was a nice family and a good family, the Bowyers.
Mhm.
Did you know any of those people? Just keep it. Just keep it. Did you know any of that family of the Bowyers personally?
I knew them all.
All of them.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
I got a lot of Sammy's songs on tape where he made for me and give me.
Which one did that?
Sammy.
Sammy.
That,
Oh, Reese. He belonged to Quartet.
well, but
Well,
he-
both of them did. Sam and Ernest.
yeah, but Sammy did this on his own.
Tea or something.
No, thank you.
Althea?
No, I.
No, thanks. I know my name's not Althea, but I'll go ahead and answer.
There, we was talking about a picture. Something I wanted to know. They'll never come back now.
Fleeting moments. They do fleet, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
They get by and sometimes we lose
You want to
track.
have a picture?
Yeah,
was
I'll
talking
take a
about
picture of
somebody-
that. I think I'm.
grandparents or something, and I wanted to say, and it was something that we've been talking about. We never did hear something about the one side of the family. That's why we did. I forgot what it was now.
Well, Granddaddy Plover, that's the Plover side.
Oh, I know. I wanted
And the
one
other
question I
side
want to
was
know
the
is where did the first Ploggers live that came to America? Where did they come to?
I don't know, but there were some of them located up back of Mount Jackson.
Now, is that the one that came over from Germany?
I don't know.
I'm sure.
In other words, you can take close-ups with yours.
I don't know if it would
Okay,
have been
then
there
mine
or
would
Valley,
work.
but I imagine it would have been out in the Big
Take the
Valley.
real. Well, now I took one of Lois off of her picture there, the 8x10, and it turned out real good. But to take one off of this side,
small
I'm not
one, yeah.
sure. I'll have to take one and see.
Mm-hmm. Do some experimenting.
Well, I guess you take close-up with these, but it doesn't. Hers is different than mine.
I got a doohickey fits on there.
Yeah. Now, I got a picture, the
Cheap
picture of
little thing.
Grandma's and Granddaddy's tombstone.
How about that? That's a good picture, too.
I know it is.
Isn't that
I got that one. And I got Vernon's obituary here to put in. I started saving that stuff. Do you have any pictures of these?
Grandpa and Lucy Munch, Grandpa Jim and Lucy.
Well, I've got pictures that haven't been identified yet, so I could have.
Jim and
Do
Lucy
you
Munch.
have them?
You see,
Pictures of them? That was,
And she gave me some photocopies of them.
Oh, okay. Did you want any?
So,
this one that you're holding, that's my mother's father, man. She was the only child they ever had.
She was a Ritenour.
Munch.
Lucy.
Yeah, she was a Ritenour.
Yeah. And she married James Munch.
Yeah.
is this James one?
Mm-hmm. No, yeah. Yeah, that's James Munch and Rebecca Ritenour Munch. Miss Clawley, Grace Clawley's mother and father.
Okay,
Well, I
thank you.
thought that this picture you had here was them.
Oh, this is Silas and Rebecca. They're the ones that's in this.
They
No,
go
wait a
way
minute.
back.
They're the ones
In
that
other words, they're the parents of this.
they're the parents of him.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got
they
you.
go. That goes way back, generations.
They're the ones that
I still say that man looks like James Powell.
hey, he's the one that was in the Civil War, and then his son George was in the Civil War, and little Dennis was going through this, and after I got copies, made copies, so he's going through this when he's up here, and they wrote backwards and forwards. The son wrote backwards
Yeah, I
and forwards.
got right
and
there,
one too. Yeah.
uh-huh.
Okay, and little Dennis said, "Mama," he said, "I'd go back and I could write essay on the Civil War better than they got in them history books." And he got a kick out of it. George wrote and told his daddy, I think this is the way it was, that I don't know which side it was, but somebody was behind a tree and he poked his head out and somebody shot his head off. And he ran far enough to get there. That's all I know.
But you know, look, you can tell from this. Look at this man's mouth and that mustache, and then you put him there.
Oh, yeah.
The nose.
Uh-huh. Good gracious.
And she's got pictures.
But
from when I
these
was
are
on
his
that.
parents, and these are Gracie's parents. Is that right?
Let me look
Yeah.
at the ones you got holding here.
Yeah, this
See, I took them off of your picture over there, those big ones you got out there.
Yeah, she's Susan.
No, she was Rebecca.
No, Rebecca. I got the Rebecca for a middle name. But yeah, those are good old pictures. I'll tell you
I'm
that.
telling you, if I ever get straightened out on this stuff,
This was a tintype, and that come from Leo Clem up in Hagerstown.
Yeah.
And they said they thought that was George Munch's family.
Now that's the youngest.
Somebody,
youngest
you know,
it
I
could have
picture I
Could have
ever
been.
saw.
then somebody else said,
Made
no,
of-
it's not. So I scratched it
I'm
off.
not sure that I have this exact
I tell you,
picture,
he
because
certainly
I've
don't
got
look like
one of
these
the
here
two
pictures.
taken
Now,
when they were
Harold
old.
Flogger
This is a young picture.
has,
no, I
has
think
some,
she got this
has
off
some
your
write-ups
picture.
and
Well,
things.
now, I
I
tell you
always know
what,
it's
it
going
just
to
looks
take
so
some,
young
got some
to what
write-ups
my
or something
picture I
about a
thought did.
generation
I know
back
this is
before
Mom,
Granddaddy Joe.
son.
Well, maybe that's what this is like. Look,
But-
She was a
But they was going to come. They wasn't there this summer at the reunion. They were here the summer before, and they was coming
we
back
gotta
through,
brought
but they
mine,
didn't. And
I
they were
got-
going to stop to see me. If I wasn't home, they was going to put a copy in the
here,
mailbox.
look at these pictures.
But I had
No,
already
I
read
never
that. I got
ever
his
saw a
address,
picture
so I'm
of
going
my
to write to
grandmother
him.
and granddaddy that young. Never. I've got a picture of them, but it was taken after there were old people.
He lives in. You want the address?
no, I don't
Oh,
think
he
so.
lives in Stonewood, West Virginia.
Oh, uh-huh.
I forgot who gave me that address.
Oh, is that you?
Yeah, that was me.
Well,
Just
you were
before
a
Jim
real-
and I got married.
You was a real fancy looking young lady.
Well, thanks.
I should
I
have.
wonder who had that picture, Olive. Now that's a young, I've got one of them older, that's real old of them. But that picture is young.
That picture I took of that big picture you got over there upstairs.
You mean
before
the
I
great,
got-
great big one?
Yeah, that great big one that you got upstairs. You remember I come over there and Mamie came with me and
But
we
it
brought them
looks
down.
like they're 20 years younger than that picture, right there.
Well, I took it off of your picture.
Now she's standing there. She's standing there. She was thick, just when she got older, she was as thick near as she was tall.
Now here's a picture I take with my camera.
Yeah.
Off of Catherine, off of another one of Catherine Peters. It's not too
Now
bad.
that's a little bigger. Let me
These
see if
are
I
all
can. Let me
looking
see if I
awful
can. What my camera's going to do with this.
Okay.
These pictures turned out
I've never
really.
tried really taking the small ones. You know. Is it better to lay it flat or have
Or
it on
would
a
you
little
like
angle?
Mother?
I lay them flat,
Okay.
but do however.
Let me see what I'm going to do here.
No, I never ever saw them look that young in this picture.
Now see, she don't have any names on all these. She better get busy.
I
and
know,
put some
I got to get
these
names on
pictures.
all of them. I don't want no beans in the bags either.
There, she's got another picture of them.
I guess that's the reason she gave me
Oh,
one.
I've got quite a few of them there. I had some extra ones made. I'm going to see what that turns out to be.
And then here's the one I took off of somebody's of Joe.
Maybe I better take one of him too, because this is a little bigger than the ones I got there.
Well, these turned out bigger. Like I said, I assumed the same place, but I don't know why. And then this next one here, I want Francis to get in on this conversation.
There's some there of the kids
Now,
when they was
you
little.
want to try Billy and Amanda?
Yes. I got 24 on this roll, so I might as well better take some pictures to get some of these new stuff. I hate to get too many on a roll. It takes too long to get them, you know.
Where do you have yours done at?
I've been going to Ripco. It's there close and it's easy.
Well, that's where I go.
A lot of people goes to Kmart.
Now, this is the picture that Francis has.
I got the one on the tin also.
Now, just don't
Now,
read.
who's that one?
Don't read
Oh,
it.
that-
Don't read it on the back. Let's
She's
just,
already read it.
well,
Yeah, but I mean, you couldn't approve it by me.
but that's not what I'm trying to get at. That's the same picture of those two sisters. The one on the left.
Yeah,
That looks like the
Are
same
these
one,
yours?
doesn't it?
yeah. That's
Well, then
that.
how can it be
Let me see
a
here.
sister when it's a grandmother
Yeah.
Paul?
No, gee.
I don't know.
Now,
See,
I get-
we got problems with this identification. One time they come up with one thing, another. So
Yeah.
that's why we come over here today. We thought you would straighten us out.
Honey, I don't know enough back far enough.
Althea, who is
Hey,
that?
oh,
Now
who's
don't look
this?
on the
I
back,
made it
please.
1958.
That's Mother and Daddy.
Oh. Well, now see, you got to write them names on there.
I know I have, honey. Frames, these old frames fall apart.
Oh, she's getting more.
No, I bet they come and get honey. There's my
Oh.
2 grandchildren.
Oh my lands.
He looks. They tell me a lot of them says he puts in mind of his granddaddy.
Well, now here's a photocopy that says Vulgar.
I never ever had this picture.
No, Frances has it.
Oh.
It come from her through her mother.
Well, you see, that's my grandmother, Flogger.
It is if it is.
And
But on the Xerox copy, they say it's Mary, them two sisters. No, it's Anna that's the two.
But that's Grandma Catherine Vulgar.
this says Catherine Peters.
I know, but I wrote it on
Flogger.
there.
Oh,
Hey, what school is this?
well, maybe this isn't her then.
I say the same person can't be two different people.
No, that's
Right.
exactly right. But I
Right.
would like to know which one is her.
Right.
My grandmother.
I guess we'll just go and use Joe Plogger this and I have not worry about it anymore because
Well,
this is not very clear, but
I'm going to be calling Jenny, and I'm going to ask her if she's gone. We'll go up there if she's gone.
well,
Who's supposed to have Jenny?
Jenny?
Jenny.
Yeah.
Jenny,
I'm gonna
Jenny
put-
who?
Jenny Morgan.
Jenny Ann
Jenny
Kirkhoff
Patterson.
Oh,
Patterson, yeah. Now I will look at what you're done with here.
Well, it's some checks and everything else in that.
Well, maybe we could go out to eat before we go or something. Now there's something.
I don't want anything
Did I?
else to eat.
No, I don't either. I'm just kidding. I reckon I scooched that down there. I believe somebody else scooched that down.
No, I just haven't ever gotten real close with, and I regret it, with the people over, relatives over in Luray. We just, she'd come over in the summer, when she did a little thing, why they'd bring her over to Granddaddy's and over to our house, she'd stay with me, and we'd have good times and all that, but we got older, why we just kind of drifted apart, and we have never,
I had to take care of Denny's honey business.
Well, that's fine.
but
I knew that's what they wanted. And then this is, Lois sent me this one at Christmas. I think I got some dust on it. I need to dust it. And then this is Denny's wife.
Oh, uh-huh.
let me see those, I haven't seen those.
Yeah.
No, you haven't seen this one. No.
Yeah.
Somebody said she don't, said they always thought she looked like her daddy. When they saw that picture, they said, God, that was you when you was young. I said, no, it wasn't either. And they said they didn't realize she looked that much like me. I didn't either, because the day Jim was buried, she looked almost identical.
Well, you
to
see,
Ann.
that's a generation that's grown up that I haven't seen them growing up, and it just seems to me they can't be that old and mature.
She'll be 50 in September.
Isn't that
That was
right?
great grandmother and grandfather Stinson. Do you remember them?
No, but I'll get a picture of it. I'll leave this the home place out now. I don't have one.
Which one's that one? Oh,
This one.
yeah. But now I got a bigger one over here. than
Oh, you
that.
do? Uh-huh.
Yeah. I got one.
I want to take one off of it.
This doesn't look like she used to. I don't think at all. She's changed so much.
Now, I remember these being in the paper, Virgil Claris's 70th anniversary.
Yeah.
Well, that's an old picture. Doesn't have a name on it.
That was Lois when she was little.
Well, it kind of looks older than that.
No.
Yeah.
Honey, that's almost 50 years old, my dear. She's big 50.
Oh. Isn't
See, I
that beautiful?
had that enlarged. That's the home place.
Uh-huh. That isn't quite like this southern, so if you don't mind,
But
I'll...
now this is the Stinsons.
Yeah, I want to take a picture of
Yeah,
that,
and then this is the Granddaddy Plotter place over there, see?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the Emerson Galladay family.
Well, Francis,
I had a lot of those pictures.
we just might be in luck.
I had a lot of those pictures, but I gave them back. You know, I gave Althea most of hers back. I gave gave Ann and them a bunch back. Gave Franklin and them a lot of them. So she's on there.
Yeah, but I don't know why.
Well, this sure doesn't look like Emerson and them.
No.
Lucy's on that picture. Maybe you can pick her out. I can't.
Oh, my. She's a blonde.
Well, you can't tell on that picture, though.
Oh, I think so. I'm on there, too.
You are, well, it doesn't say so. Your
That was
name's not
Daddy.
there.
That was Daddy's sister.
I expect I took that
Francis,
picture.
that was Daddy's sister, youngest sister. When
No, I own that picture. I'm the little girl at the end of the row in front that was got the hat. I had a new hat, and I had to wear it. A wide-brim hat. Oh, goodness, yes, I know every person in this picture. As we grew up, there's Katie Dinges and the Ritenour girls and the Shipe girls, two of them.
This was Bertham's
Oh.
place over on the hill. That's burnt down now.
Munch,
Somebody burnt down. That was on
Ritenour.
Dad's farm over there.
Go over the river and down.
Well, you go over
My
this
brother
way,
Jim's
and then you could
in
go
that
on down
picture,
to the
my
hazard,
sister
but it's set
Lucy.
up on the hill there.
Oh.
Yeah, I asked you where Lucy was on there.
Well, she's the
Oh,
little
up
blonde
there in the
girl with
cemetery,
yellow
yeah.
hair, white hair, the smallest child on there.
You were Lynn.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I had the stem.
And Jim is the one out here on
down
the
there.
end.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's a beautiful home.
It was pretty.
Mm. And I had to
There's
get
one of
brand-
Uncle Jim and Aunt Merle.
I had a brand new hat and I had to wear it.
Naturally.
Got in my
See,
picture.
Myrtle
That's
was
my
a
brother
sister
Paul
to
right
my
behind you with
husband's
the cap
mother.
and the suit on.
Well, that was a long time ago, and
Yeah.
oh,
There, did we see that someplace else?
Yes,
Oh, Lucy's?
You may have.
I don't know, but I got it.
But
in my-
that pumpkin, somebody stole it. And then the sheriff department said it was up on the gymnasium at the high school. So they got it and took it down. Jim brought it home. So I carved it up. I had to go to work that night to plank. I carved it up. I carved it up into a jack-o'-lantern and put a box of candy on the top of it. And I covered the whole back door out there. And I put on there. I said, yes, it's me, Big Max, looking at you from the corner of my eye. Have a good have a piece of candy and good night and goodbye. And, I've got a picture here somewhere that's got that all on it, you know.
Lucy Clover. Frank Ritenour and James.
I don't know what you're talking
And all Stinson, they must be older people.
Yeah, that was Uncle Bob Stinson's uncle, Randy Stinson's father, and she was Daddy's sister.
Oh, okay.
They are. Aunt Alice was been dead for 5 years, and she was 94 when she died.
Well, my God.
Yeah. And this was Grandma Lynn and all of her kids.
I haven't got to that file yet.
There's one. Now that was Raymond, my brother, and Bobby, and me, and my sister when we lived up on the farm. And there's some more in there that had Mother and Daddy on it, but I don't know whether you come across those in your stack here or not. If you look at. Nobody's got them but me. And I had some made
What
over
did
and
you
gave my
say
brother
this
some.
was? I gotta wait till I take
I
my...
was going to ask all when she came back where
I
that school
think, let's
building
see.
was.
Let me see.
That's why I laid them out there, the ones I wanted to
I
ask
think
about.
this must have been up in Thompson Hall or
Yeah.
somewhere. I really don't know. I think that was in there with somewhere along with the Stinson. We never did figure out where it was. Now I've got a picture of the old Akron Hill School right there that I
That's
took.
old. Who's that?
That was Daddy's sister May, and she died when she was just a teenager. That's Uncle Lawrence's boy when he was little. Larry
Lucy.
Lawrence who?
Stinson.
Lucy. Frank Ritenour and James Clover. Yes, goodness. That's picture.
Now, here's a copy, photostatic copy of somebody I haven't seen
Oh,
you
Oh,
have.
now that's a Stinson. That was one of the old Stinsons back. I've got one there in them books somewhere. I gave the kids a lot of pictures. I went through them after Jim died, and I should have kept them here for a while longer. And I just took pictures here, which and tried to divide them up the best I could, and that's what happened to them.
I haven't seen that file.
See one? And that was the one you'd seen. I had picked one up, yeah.
See, I got that picture there, Althea, that there...
This one?
Yeah, when Toad come home from the service, I had that because, see, Aunt Katie and Fanny's on there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I had a brand new hat, and I had to show it off. I got it on my head. Another little girl, Isabel Munch, aside of me, had a new hat too, so we had to show our hats off. See if it doesn't say it.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
I've never seen
Althea
one.
and Isabel, yeah. And then Thelma Ritenour, the hair, long hair around her shoulders. Eveline Munch, Lucy Clover, this little blonde, kind of the smallest
Maybe
of
it's
them
like
there's
it
Lucy.
Next door, didn't it?
Silas Ritenour, Frank Ritenour and Silas, two of them brothers, and James Clover. Yes.
Yeah, I went over to Frank's and had him to identify
was a-
them.
This was Granddaddy Stinson's, I think so, sister's daughter.
Hmm.
And she married Hubert Barbie, which was a, wait a minute now. Hubert Barbie married her mother.
Oh, Amanda Ritenour.
No, that was Bud.
Oh, okay.
Hubert, wait a minute. Hubert married her, but her mother was it Eveline? Well, now, what was her name? She was a Stinson. And she married Now, wait a minute. Well, I'll have to look in this book and find out. I don't know. Did you get that? Did you get that?
Yeah, I took a picture of it,
You think that was a little bit, this is a mess here. I haven't got all, I'm trying to get together. This is along the Stimpsons. It's write-ups and everything else in here.
Yeah, but gee, it's good that you got it.
Well, anyway, I started out, and boy, I tell you, Uncle Jim and Myrtle was there on looking, wasn't they cutting the
Oh, I
mustard?
got a picture like that,
Now this was a Sir Elizabeth Stimson here, and they gave a lot on building the Baptist church down here. And when she died. Her and Briscoe left. They give the money off to a college in Richmond.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Good night.
Yeah. And this is the old Stimson house over there on the river.
Oh, let me take a picture of that, because I've been over there.
And this is the one where they lived at, and then this was from up at the road. I took it. I don't know how good that'll come out. Oh, wait a minute. I've got pictures of those, honey. Let's see.
And then that other part there's
I got the picture of them, but I took it to put in the book on that. Now, let me see. You probably get better of the picture.
There's Emma Ann Fay and Jerry Gawley. There's family.
I'll take these things, and then when I get them done, I'll say, who the heck's that? Because you can't remember them all.
There's no way you can write it down on a piece of paper that was given.
Well, I did was at Althea's, and I did real good except those couple. And I guess I just more or less got lazy.
Jenny's grandparents' folder.
This house.
Well, if it's Jenny's grandparents' folder, that would be Grace and Frank, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And see, that doesn't have a name on the back. I'll tell you how to do that.
Now that's the one she's got. She's got another.